seconds. Hello, welcome to Lunch and Learn, which is also the recording of our podcast for the Connect Her podcast with Lee Cummins, which is very exciting. And we might wait a couple of seconds or so. And I know that there were quite a few people that messaged me to say, when's it coming on? So if you're just joining us, don't forget to just click to say that you are okay with StreamYard to know who you are, so that when you comment, we will see who the comments are. And there is a little bit of a lag. Hi, Leanne. We've got Leanne Campbell joining us today. Welcome. So, yes, just make sure that you say, yes, StreamYard can see you, so that we can see your comments and we know that it's not just a Facebook user. So I think let's get started. Okay, we've got a Facebook user that said, hello, Lee. That's Sally Gray. So, Sally, if you just say yes to StreamYard using your name, that way we can see it on the program. So welcome, everybody. And I want to welcome my guest, which is Linda Clucas. Now, Linda has a really fantastic Facebook group, which is called Women Over 45 Thriving. So I've put that down on the banner. Hi, Linda. How are you?
Hello, Lee. I'm really great, thank you. Thank you for having me today as your special guest.
I'm very pleased to have you on the show because we have just launched Lunch and Learn. And, of course, as I said, we're going to also, if you're listening to this, this is also going to be the podcast, the audio as well. Now, I've learnt so many things from you. One of them is how interactive you are in your group, which is just fabulous. I love to see that. You do some amazing video tutorials that I love to watch. As soon as it comes up, Linda Clucas's live, whatever I'm doing, I just jump on. And I just thought it was timely that we had a chat, because we as business owners have been thrown into, a lot of us, into an unknown world, which is going virtual. And you do some fantastic tips on makeup and how to present on video. So I'm going to throw the floor open to you. If anybody's got questions, please do put them in the comments. Don't forget to let StreamYard know that you're happy for us to know who you are. And we will then be able to answer your questions as they come up. Rightio. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Linda, and just what are some of your key tips for being camera ready?
Oh, thanks, Lee, and thank you very much for the lovely introduction. So I have been a Zoom user for quite some time. I've been doing training with, my team and my business colleagues on Zoom for quite some time. So I'm quite used to this virtual way of connecting. But I've found since we've been, in isolation, that I've noticed that a lot of people are now jumping on Zoom, and there's some really interesting things that happen on Zoom, aren't there, Lee? Have you noticed anything funny happening?
Yes, we've had on our Connect Her meetings some really unusual stuff happening, and of course there's also that video that's going around where that poor lady didn't realise that people could see what she was doing, and she went to the loo. So yes, there's a lot of unusual stuff happening.
Yeah. So I guess starting with the Zoom chats, or any kind of, even a Facebook video chat, is that you need to have your video on and you need to be visible. You know, us as business women, we're jumping on these calls and we are representing our business. So it's really super important that we have our face on, we have the video open, we have our faces on the video, because then people can see us. And I know it's tempting at times, especially around meal times. You might think, oh, I'll just jump on, but I'll block my video or block my camera. it's not very sort of conducive to, you know, chatting or, you know, being a good representative of your brand. So I think it's always really important that you have your camera on to start with. And when you're looking, you need to be looking at the camera. So the little green dot, either on your phone or on your laptop, so people can actually make eye contact with you. I think that's one of the first tips I want to share with everybody.
Can I also say on the camera is have your camera higher so that you're looking up at it. It gets rid of the double chin.
Yes, we don't want to be looking. We don't want to be looking down like that.
Yeah,
because that's not a good look.
Yes.
One thing I mentioned in my Facebook group was about you know, the clothes that you wear in your background. I think, and you can take your cue from newsreaders on this one. I think it's always quite interesting if you haven't done that before. You know, jump on the news today or tonight and just have a look and see what newsreaders are wearing. 9 times out of the 10, they're wearing something which is a very solid colour, because that way it's not distracting to whatever's going on in the background or to whatever message is that you're sharing. Now, here in my office, I've got quite a busy background. So if I was to wear something that was, you know, flowery, colourful, you know, leopard print, whatever, I would probably blend in with the background and you wouldn't notice me. So I tend to wear very solid, you know, neutral colours, something like this, so that you can actually see me. So that's my second tip. Be mindful not only of your background, but what you're wearing. The third tip is about your presentation and your makeup. And this is what I love to share because, as Lee alluded to, every Wednesday on my Facebook group, I do a short makeup tip. And one of the tips I did a couple of weeks ago was your makeup when you are online. Now, as I said before, you are representing your brand. So you don't want to rock up. If you went to a normal, you know, face-to-face networking meeting, you would put some nice clothes on, you'd put some shoes on, you would, you know, put a little bit of makeup and put some effort into it. The same goes for your online Zoom networking meetings as well. You know, be mindful of what you're wearing and the makeup that you do. Because you're on camera, you do need to put more makeup on than you would normally, and especially colour. So lights and cameras actually wash out your skin and wash the colour out of your face. So if you do have, and I know this is, I've got light coming in here, but generally speaking, you want a foundation colour that's a little bit darker than what you normally wear because lights will fade you out. I always put extra cheek colour on, like blush on, to add a bit of colour into my face. And also if you know, some people don't worry about the eyes, but I always do a little bit of eye makeup. Make sure that your mascara and everything is, you know, on point. So it really helps to define your eyes and define your lips, and also to have a little bit of lipstick on your lips, because often when we're online, we will be looking at someone's lips more than their eyes. When you're face to face, often you will, you know, look someone in the eye, and that's how we connect. But often, and again, when you're watching the news, you know, I will often read the person's lips. So again, it's important to, you know, bring out that slightly bolder lipstick than you normally would and put that on, because that will really add some colour to your face and make you look healthy and make you look presentable. And that's, again, all about your brand.
Absolutely. And speaking of brand, I quite often wear my brand colours. I do when I go to networking events, and that's why I have quite a bland background, because I do the opposite to you. And Leanne Campbell, I'm going to just pop this comment up because this is a fabulous one. Don't wear a sarong or you'll look naked. And that's very true. Very true.
That's a very good tip. Very good tip.
And I know Leanne is very heavily involved. She's an actress, and she is on Prisoner. What's the new Prisoner called? Please, Leanne, put the comment on. I know it off the top of, and it's on the tip of my tongue. But she was talking about the cameras. It stops your eyes being in the shadow. Wentworth. and I've got it before she put the comment in. So Wentworth. So Leanne is actually involved. There we go. Wentworth came up. Leanne's actually involved and is an actress on there. So she would be definitely knowing all about makeup and lighting and cameras. So, but obviously a lot of us aren't used to that. And one of the things that I've spoken about both on my podcast and also here is that whatever you're seeing on screen is what everyone else is seeing as well. So that is really important to be aware that whatever you are doing, if you're, pulling at your hair or wiping your nose in the camera. I've seen people that have, checked their eyeliner and all sorts of things. We all see that. And it is, you are representing your brand and you're representing your business and you as a person. So they're very good tips. Thank you. Now, one of the things that we were just talking about before we came online is that we've been thrust into this world of Zoom and online. So I did a lunch and learn on a few different applications that you can use to go virtual. So it doesn't matter which one. But we've also got to remember that we used to pick up the phone and talk to people. And we still text, and that we don't have to do everything on Zoom, because I think otherwise we're all going to end up zoomed out by the end of this. We don't know how long it's going to last. So, if you would normally have a phone conversation with somebody, you still have a phone conversation. Or if you normally text somebody or Facebook Messenger, you still do that. It's not about just everything's got to go online.
Yes, absolutely. Over Easter, it's funny how we've just had Easter, and for the first time I didn't see any of my family, and we all used Zoom, which was so unusual. But that's probably the first and only time we'll do that now. For months. We'll never do that again, because it was a special occasion. Because normally we pick up the phone and talk to each other. I've got a brother who's in Seymour, a couple of hours from here, and a sister who's on the other side of town. And we always simply just text and phone each other. And I think it's important that we keep doing that. We're not going to be jumping on Zoom every time we want to talk to each other. So I think that's a really great point. Thanks, Lee.
Well, I for the first time, I've been back to Perth. My mum wasn't particularly well. And when I left, I said, we've got to do a little bit more of FaceTime. And on Easter, I FaceTime them, and she goes, I don't do FaceTime. And just, no. But she phoned me yesterday on FaceTime, which was very exciting. So now I think some of us get into a little bit of overwhelm with the fact that I've got a Zoom call today, and I've got this phone call, and I've got another Zoom call. And I actually was talking to somebody just recently, and they said that they had Zoom overwhelm. They were zoomed out basically because you're not having that downtime where you might go to a networking event and you've got that time to get in the car and just do a brain dump, or pop on a podcast or listen to some music, or, just chill between the next appointment. We actually don't have that. And we've got to be careful that we don't just have meeting, that you don't have any downtime. We don't have any relaxation time either. So I know that you're a user of the Ant Planner, and so have you been planning in when you're going to be going to your meetings? Excellent.
As we were talking before we came live, I was saying to Lee that I will sometimes forget that I've got a Zoom meeting, because if I'm going out to a meeting, like you said, you've got that time in the car to get your head around what you're doing. You also have to physically be somewhere. So somehow that puts a mental, mentally I know that I have to go somewhere, so I'm ready to go. But with the online world, I'm finding initially I found that I was kind of almost forgetting my meetings, because I thought, oh, I don't have to go anywhere. So what I've started to do is get my Ant Planner, and if Ildy's watching this, she's going to be so proud of me. But it looks a bit like this. This is just a blank page that I've pulled out. But I'm putting in all of my, and I have this sitting open on my desk all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I've got my Connect Her meeting in there for a couple of weeks.
Well
but
done.
I make sure that I have that open all the time, and I have all of my meetings in here so that I know exactly, where I'm going and what I'm doing. And then you can see the gaps that you've got. Like I'm quite a visual person, so I can see visually which gaps I've got. It might be a lunch break, it might be 11s, as I like to call it, or an afternoon, and then I can go out for a walk or go for a bike ride. So I think that's really important that we schedule those little gaps of time as well in our planners, or however you want to do it. If you're an electronic person, plan those little gap times in there as well so that you can have those little breaks, because they're just as important as our meetings.
Oh, and, absolutely.
It's tempting, and I have worked from home for many, many years, so I'm quite used to it. But for those of us that are thrust into working from home, I think one of the big traps is the fridge. Should we talk about the fridge and the pantry?
Yes, but just before we leave this topic, Leanne's got that she links her Zoom meetings into her Google Calendar, which creates reminders. And I'm the same as you. I do use the Ant Planner, and I log in, where I've got to be and who I'm speaking to, and I also put the link on there. But I also have it on my phone as well, so that I do get the reminder coming up, which, the reminder came up for me for today. So just also the other thing too, Linda, is, and I've worked from home for over 20 years. I think I'm coming up to about 23 years of working from home, even if I was working for an employer. So you do have to have systems in place. One of the things that I always do, no matter what, is I have my shower in the morning, I do my hair, I do my makeup as though I am going out, and I wear an outfit that I could, it's not probably as, it's not as
glamorous, maybe?
Glamorous, yeah, as I would if I was going to a meeting, but I'm still in work mode. Yes. I don't wear high heels or anything like that, but I make sure that I'm in work mode, because, yes, you can go in front of your computer, but if you're in your tracky dacks and you're in, whatever, it doesn't put you in that same light of being at work. And I have done this forever. And my husband goes, why do you put makeup on? You're wasting your money. You're wasting your money putting your makeup on. So because as soon as I go into there, I've got to be on work mode. At any time, and, back in one of my roles, I could have got a phone call and had to have gone out straight away. So I needed to be meeting ready. So do you do that, Linda? I'm putting you on the spot here. Do you get yourself ready for your day?
I do. Yep, I do. It's interesting because when all this coronavirus thing started and we realised we were going to have to be at home, I felt quite blah, really. And it took me a couple of weeks to, pick myself up. And what I realised was that I was kind of out of, even though I'd worked at home, I was out of my normal routine. And for me, my routine is getting up early, doing my exercise, and then, doing what you just described, Lee, is, getting dressed and putting my makeup on and getting ready for the day. And I realised that I wasn't doing any of that. And it kind of hit me like a ton of bricks. And I realised that's why I felt so blah every single day. I really wasn't upbeat, and I wasn't representing myself or my business in any good light. So I started to force myself to get up early. Thankfully, the clock's changed, so it's much easier now at the moment to get up early again. Mm-hmm. So I was getting up early. I was going for my bike ride, or I was doing my bike ride in the garage. And wow, that, hour, that half an hour, that hour of exercise just, wow, makes you feel really, really good. It's just amazing how effective that is to get those endorphins going. So that then it kind of reset me back into my routine. And I found that, yes, I was, doing the things I was doing before. I felt much better, within myself. And I felt much better about everyone else, and much better to cope with the day as well. And one thing also that I've started to do in my routine is do a short meditation. Now, I've never been a big fan of the woo-woo stuff, the meditation, any of that. But I have found that just even 5 minutes makes such a difference to my outlook and my mind. And so that's another thing that I've worked into my routine. And then I'm all set, by 8 o'clock, 8:30, I'm ready to go. And, that's my day. I'm all set to go. So I think it's really, really important that we, get into those, build those habits, those routines that make you feel good, and about, getting yourself ready for the day. I think that's really important.
Well, we've had 3 comments. So Leanne Campbell's put, putting your makeup on is essential as it's your game face. Kay Cremond, totally agree. It makes you feel good too. I even put on perfume. So do I, Kay. If you smell gorgeous, you feel gorgeous. And Jacqueline Smith, I find my mind works better when I'm dressed for work.
Yes.
And I absolutely agree. Totally. So, and the last few weeks, since I got back from Perth, I haven't been well. And the first few days I sort of got up and put makeup on and did my Zoom meetings, and then took my makeup off and went back to bed. And I, bottom down, was still in pajamas, and top up was in a nice top. But I didn't feel right, and I didn't feel well. So now, so they are really important tips as well. And you alluded, and I cut you off because I am so guilty of pantry and fridge attraction.
Yes.
So yes,
it's so tempting, isn't it? It's so tempting just to be snacking all day, and it's I don't know what the solution is there, but for me, I just don't buy junky snacks. And once all the Easter eggs are gone, they're gone. No more of that stuff, because I have been nibbling on Easter eggs all weekend, and I certainly don't feel good about it.
Well, look, I have got a couple of tips for, and my weight fluctuates all the time. If you go through my Facebook photos, you can see me big, middle, thin, so I am certainly not a good advocate, but I can tell you that one of the things that I do at home is, in my office, I pack myself my thermo cafe, my coffee, and I make that, and I don't have to go out near the kitchen because that stays hot. And I keep myself a cold drink as well, and that eventually goes hot, but it doesn't matter. But I do not have to go anywhere near the kitchen. If I am on the phone, I walk around. And in fact, I was saying to somebody, I don't want to do Zoom. I want to talk on the phone because I have my earbuds and I just go walking while I'm on the phone, whether it be indoors or outdoors. And I actually have it like a set lunch break that I'll say, right, I'm going to do this until 1 o'clock or 1:30 or whatever. And then I'll actually have my lunch and I come out of the office, because if you eat and work, you're not concentrating on what you've put in your mouth. And the same in the afternoon. I make myself another cup of coffee, have another cold drink, and I don't go out near the kitchen.
They're great tips. Great tips. I need to do a little bit more of that.
Grab yourself a thermos mug.
I've got one of those. Yeah. I'll have to dig it out. Yep.
Stays hot for ages, and and then you don't have to keep going and getting a cup of coffee. And now this is a really good tip. Wear tight pants. Loose clothing makes it easier to snack. You're not wrong there. So, it's a nice pair of tight pants as well. So there's some really, really good tips there. But I think putting makeup on, getting yourself ready and prepared, and being ready online as well. Now, one of the things is you've got to use your primer. Your primer.
Yes.
I think that makes a huge difference in front of the camera. As I said, I have been sick, and I just sort of slapped on a bit of makeup for one meeting, and I looked at it and I thought, oh my gosh, this is just shocking. And I had no primer, and I really had just slapped it on enough to sort of get to the meeting and go again. So a good primer, and obviously your company has a fabulous primer. Now I'm going to put your Facebook group up again, which is Women Over 45 Thriving, because if you're not in this group, go over and apply, because I think it's a private group. Because Linda has some amazing information on makeup, on tips for health. You do a Meatless Monday recipe, which I have yet to do, but I am planning. But some really great tips and some really good information for women that are over 45 and do want to thrive. So head over to Linda's Facebook group, Women Over 45 Thriving. And I think it's every Wednesday you do your tutorials, don't you?
Yes, Wednesday makeup tips. So they're usually something like quite short, just one particular aspect of makeup, whether that be applying makeup or we've done things like, washing makeup brushes and the importance of that. So all different aspects, and just one, little bite-size little tip every Wednesday.
Fantastic. I love that. So for everybody that is listening, and you may be on our live, or you may be listening to the recording on our podcast, don't forget to head over to Facebook, to the Connect Her Facebook page. We will keep you updated with the Lunch and Learns when they're coming up. We will also any new events that are coming up as well. So that's one to get to. We've also got our marketplace, Connect Her Marketplace. You can promote your business every single day of the week, any day of the week, once a day. So Connect Her Marketplace, it is a private group. It's a public group, sorry, and invite your friends as well. So if you are looking for something that you need to purchase, head on over and see if you can support the women in our marketplace. Also, we have our podcast, which is the connecther.com.au. Just go /podcast. And this will actually be up in, I think in about a week, this one will go live. So there's lots and lots of ways to stay connected. Don't just think of Zoom. Think of, other ways that you can stay connected with people. It doesn't always have to be about the video. It can be, the phone calls and the text messages. And I love WhatsApp. That's one of the things that I love. And I'm just checking for those working at their computers or desk for a long period of time, make sure you do some desk exercises. And that is so true, Jacqueline. I'll just pop that one up there because, as I said, if I'm doing a phone call, I actually get up and just walk around and sort of pace up and down, gets my steps up. Got to make sure for that, and it keeps you active as well. So
absolutely. And I think on that, sorry to cut you off there,
no.
But I think also when you're standing, your posture's a lot better, and your voice is actually projected a lot better. Whereas if sometimes we sit and we tend to do this, and then our voice kind of drops. So it's a good idea sometimes to do your meeting standing up, so that you're a little bit more upright, and the diaphragm's more open, and you actually project yourself much better in that respect too.
When
Another
I
tip.
was, yeah, absolutely. When I was doing radio, I would always have the seat up really high so that I had to sit with the microphone sort of here, because it gave me more length in my body, in my upper body, so that I could really project my voice. And that was one of the things that we actually, unfortunately, because you got the panel, you can't be standing up, especially if you wear glasses, because you've got to really push down there. But that's very true. If you can stand, it really does help with your posture and projecting your voice as well. So, Linda, any final tips do you have?
Wow, I think we've covered just about everything, Lee. I've had a fantastic time today. Thank you so much for having me. I've learnt a lot from you, and also from the comments that, from Jacqueline, Leanne and Kay and everyone that's commented. I think it's been fantastic. Yeah, thank you.
Excellent. Well, I've had fun playing with StreamYard. So I have been playing around with the free version and loving it. And I've just gone over to the paid version. And if you would like $10 off StreamYard, if you just go to bit.ly/connect stream, you will actually get $10 off your first month, which is fantastic. And that's where you can put your logos, which is up over on Linda's side, and you can also put these banners around as well. So if you're somebody that needs to do that for your business, and you want to be able to stream easily, there's $10 off for you. Right. Well, I think we've had a pretty good little show. So thank you very much, Linda. I really appreciated all your tips. I love being part of your group, which I'll just pop that back up. I really do, enjoy being part of your group, because you do have some really good health tips, healthy reminders. I love your makeup tips on a Wednesday, and I think everybody will get some really good value out of it. So if you're not part of the group, head over to Facebook group Women Over 45 Thriving, and be part of Linda's group and get some of these fantastic tips. So excellent. And ladies, I'm going to open the comments. Please share with us so we can do a shout out who was on with us today with either your Facebook page, or we can also have your website, whichever you prefer. And I'm going to do some shout outs. So I should have done it sooner, because there is a little bit of a lag, but they'll start coming through. Mary Unwin, thanks, Linda. Kay Cremont, thanks, ladies. And thank you to everybody that came on and gave us some great tips and information. We really appreciated it. And don't forget, you can link Zoom with your calendars as well, which is great. That's a good way of remembering exactly where they are. Great to have lunch with a bit of company in this working household. Well, we are very glad that you joined us, Mary, and tell us what you had for lunch. Oh, I haven't had mine yet. Give me some ideas. Leanne Campbell, facebook.com/actress Leanne Campbell. So I'll just pop that up there. So thank you.
This is quite good. This is good, this system, isn't it?
Yes. So pop your comments, pop your website. Thank you, Lee and Linda. I got some great tips. Thank you, Lauren. So grab your website details or your group that you might have, or your Facebook page, and we'll just pop these up for you. Thanks, Lauren. I'll give it a couple of more minutes or two. Be sure to post them, and we can make sure that we've got you up. So we've got Leanne Campbell, facebook.com/actress Leanne Campbell. No
one wants to put there.
No one wants to promote their business. They're too busy. So, well, I know that we've got walktall.com.au on with us today. I know we've got Lauren Scott, which is goldengirlsassist.com.au. I don't know anyone else's off the top of my head. So I'll give it one more and then, yes, Mary. This is Mary Unwin, but she hasn't approved StreamYard on Facebook to know who she is. But there you go, walktall.com.au. So thanks, Mary. Lauren Scott, goldengirlsassist.com.au, does an amazing job with the elderly staying at home for longer, and they really need Lauren's work now, don't they? We have Jacqueline Smith with hrleadingedge.com.au, which is HR consulting. Thank you for joining us for lunch today. Kay Cremond, Live Better for Longer. Now, Kay, is that a website or is that a Facebook page? If you can let us know. Right. Maybe you'll just have to, with Kay, just check it out. I'm just going over to Facebook to see if it's come up. No. Rightio. Live Better for Longer. So I'm not sure if that is a Facebook page or if it's a website. So final Facebook group, Women Over 45 Thriving. Don't forget to head over to the Connect Her Facebook page. Start promoting your business on Connect Her Marketplace. And don't forget, if you would like $10 off StreamYard, just go to bit.ly/connect stream. And finally, this edited program will be on our connecther.com.au/podcast. I think we got some great tips out of there. Thank you so much, Linda. I really appreciate you coming on and taking time out of your business. I'm sure it was on your planner that you were going to be on today. So thank you. Thank you, everyone that joined us. Enjoy the rest of your lunch, and we'll be back next week with another episode of Lunch and Learn with Connect Her. Bye for now.